Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be getting into one of my favorite videos to film, which is foundation reviews. I love doing foundation reviews more in video than I do on my blog. Probably because I can say more about the foundation than having to type it out and my fingers get tired. But I just like reviewing foundations a little bit more on video. But I first wanted to comment and thank everyone a lot for when I filmed my Best of Beauty and I kind of talked about my recovery from surgery and everything, and everyone was so kind of, really kind and thoughtful in your wishes and comments back to me, and that really was very touching, and it really meant a lot, especially after going through kind of a really difficult and dark time. If you deal with health issues yourself, or you deal specifically with chronic pain like I do, or disc issues and that sort of thing with your neck or back or that sort of thing, or any type of health issues, regardless of what it is, that it's so challenging, and it can be very isolating. It's probably a very good word. It feels very isolating, and it feels very kind of hopeless sometimes. And so it's really nice I feel very grateful that I have this platform, because it's more, it's about makeup and, clothes, which is not very deep stuff. We're not talking about major issues, but there's another side to it that is much deeper, and it's connecting with other people and readers and you guys that have similar interests as I do, and then you form these very connected bonds, which is then much deeper than the actual content than you ever create. And that has meant probably more to me than any product I've ever reviewed or video I've ever shot. It's just the connection and community that is created around a blog or around YouTube. There's a lot of, downsides, don't get me wrong. There's there's downsides to everything. But the upside is really the sense of community and the support that complete strangers, who don't become strangers anymore, they become friends and even closer than friends, give you on a daily basis. So I really wanted to thank everyone, because it really meant a lot, and I'm still kind of, it's a challenge every day, and something that my surgeon and I discussed that could be something that I face and still struggle with every single day for the rest of my life. So it's definitely something I didn't see coming, having kind of chronic pain issues, but it's here. And I'm also lucky that I have something as enjoyable as a blog to kind of take my mind off of it, because that's what it really does. It helps me to focus my energy and that positive energy on something that I'm so passionate about and I enjoy so much, so that during that time I sometimes don't feel pain, because I'm able to focus on something really fun and exciting, and I thank you for allowing me to do that. All right, I've rambled on enough, but I just thought it was important to kind of acknowledge that and thank everyone for that, because that meant more than a blog post or a video ever could. The support means more than anything. So, all right, let's get on to the good stuff, which is the foundations. So I've got 3 new ones that I have tested out and reviewed and have kind of been buzzing about, some of these. The NARS Velvet Matte Skin Tint, which is highly anticipated. Everyone was talking about this and has been. The Laura Mercier Candle Glow Soft Luminous Foundation. Where are we focusing here? There we go. And then finally, the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but it's in a pump cushion thing. So you pump it there, and then the product comes out, and really interesting. So I first thought I would start with talking about the NARS Velvet Matte Skin Tint. I have it in the shade Finland, and I swatched all these foundation shades on my arm on the blog, so I'll link that below so you can head on over and take a look at the shade. I have it in the shade Finland, which is, I believe, the lightest shade. I liked this foundation. I didn't love it. And it has a very velvety, moussey-like texture. That's the technical word, velvety, moussey. If you've ever tried the Armani face fabric, this feels very much like it. So it's velvety and it dries down to a matte finish. When I first apply it, it looks gorgeous. It makes my skin look very velvety and soft and just absolutely beautiful. The color's a really good match as well. Somewhat yellow, which I like. But the challenge that I had was this is a great foundation to wear for just a few hours because I'm talking like maybe like 5 max. Maybe I could push it to 6. Because I noticed that after a full day, like 7 or 8 hours, it began to separate, like significantly, especially where I get oily around my T-zone. I tried it a bunch of different times to see if it was just a fluke, because I brought it with me when I went away for a day trip, and it was not a fluke. It just kept separating where I was oily, which was frustrating because it's more of a matte finished foundation. So for that reason, I liked it. I didn't love it. However, I've been reading a lot of reviews and some people did not have that experience at all. So I really think it's so hard sometimes to watch reviews from bloggers and that sort of thing because everyone's experience is different. And sometimes you can completely, connect with someone and be like, I had that experience too. And then you'll read another review and be like, I did not have that experience. So it's so different for every single person, but that was my experience. And that's the reason why I kind of fell into the like category. It's definitely not like I would go out and repurchase it, unfortunately, but like I said, I really love the initial finish. For a few hours, it looks flawless. The next one, La Mercier Candle Glow Soft Luminous Foundation. I have it in the shade Ivory. I believe my Smooth Finish Flawless Foundation, that like long one they came up with last year, the long name, that I absolutely love. I had it in the shade Cream, and I think Cream is a little bit better because Ivory seemed a little too dark, just a hint, but I could probably wear it in the summertime and it would be fine. So this, I was not quite sure, obviously, if it was for oily skin because it said Candle Glow, and my initial reaction was with glow stuff, is I was like, oh, it's going to be too shiny. It is very luminous and very glowy. However, it is very luminous and glowy in a controlled way. The luminous and glow in foundations is so different than it was like 10 years ago. So for that reason, I felt like it was a very controlled glow. Like I wasn't like completely like a disco ball and even with any type of shine. It is a foundation that I have to wear a matte primer underneath. And I do need to touch up throughout the day in my T-zone because it just stays a little oily in there. I do love the rest of the way my face looks, my cheeks and my forehead and everything. It looks very fresh and healthy. I think that it's great. I think that it's a good foundation for someone with oily skin if you're willing to kind of manage the other parts. Meaning like it's best probably to use a matte primer right through your T-zone where you're the oiliest, and perhaps maybe just have a touch-up powder throughout the day just in case oil does begin to kind of break through. It didn't separate. I didn't find that it separated, and it just stays looking it's like it's how you want your skin to look all the time, meaning like that after you've had a facial fresh glow. That's what this gives. For people that have dry skin, I think it would be phenomenal and flawless. And because it gives that fresh, just had a facial look on your skin. But the colors are kind of all over the place, and I should have gone, I didn't really even know, I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember if I saw the shade that I had in the Smooth Finish Flawless Foundation in this one. I'll have to double check and make sure that the shades are the same. But especially in the paler shades, the range is all over the place, and they're just the slightest differences in between. And so that was definitely a challenge, kind of trying to figure out which shade I would be. But like I said, I picked Ivory here. I feel it's a little bit dark, nothing that I can't work with. And that's another thing. It does not oxidize, which I was really shocked at. I don't know why I kind of assumed it would oxidize, especially being a little darker. I was like, oh no, by the end of the day I'm going to have a big old mask line down the side of my face. But I didn't. So 2 thumbs up for that, for not oxidizing. All right, final one, the Estee Lauder Double Wear. What is the name of this? It's not on the back. It's like the new Double Wear Compact, but it's like a liquid because you push this little pump right here and liquid comes out. You're supposed to use this little squishy sponge to kind of apply it on. I didn't do that. I tried the sponge a little bit. It was all right. You know what? I kind of used it in like a swiping motion. I should have known better rather than like a rolling motion. I'll have to try the rolling motion and see if that works a little bit better because I wasn't loving the sponge. I just used it for like a little bit. I was like, So I used a brush with it. I have it in the shade 1C1 Cool Bone. The shades in Estee Lauder foundation are kind of always very pink, I find, or very yellow. But actually, no, I think they tend to skew a little bit more pink and from the shades that I've seen. But I'm already a fan of the Double Wear Light. I've never tried the Double Wear Classic, like the first original Double Wear, which I can't believe I've never tried, but I have not. And I really have to because I do love like really more medium coverage, long wearing, stick with you all day, don't move foundations. But I have the Double Wear Light, which I really enjoy because it's very sheer and lightweight, but it gives fantastic coverage and does last all day. And it gives more of a natural matte finish. This I found was a little bit heavier than the the Double Wear Day that I have. But it's more of a medium coverage. And I do have to make sure that my skin is nice and exfoliated and hydrated because it did pull slightly if I had any, bumpy areas or dry patches or anything. But it does give that, which I love, very flawless finish. Like it gives you really good coverage. It covers up any type of dark spots, hyperpigmentation, redness, anything. And it does last through, like, for the whole day. Like, as Double Wear, I figured it would. It did. I did need to touch up only about once because I did start to break through some oil through the middle of my, down my T-zone. But no separation, which I was excited about, and no oxidizing. So that was a bonus. And, I don't know what the benefit of necessarily, I actually probably think that this probably coverage-wise falls in between the Double Wear Light and the probably original Double Wear because this is definitely, I feel like you could shear it out with a brush and you probably could build it up with, you're just kind of like stippling it on the skin. You could probably build it up to a little bit more coverage. So it probably falls right in the middle there. And, I don't really have a, opinion one way or another that it comes out through that little tube, that little hole in the middle. It might be a little difficult. You might not know how much you have left. Whereas like with a regular bottle, you'd be able to tell. But like with this NARS one, you can't tell either. So whatever. Kind of me just being picky. I like that it has a mirror in it. I like that I can carry it and not have to worry about the foundation kind of exploding or getting all over the place. So that's another positive with that. So those are the three that I have recently been testing. I would say out of all three, my favorite was the Estee Lauder Double Wear, followed by the Laura Mercier, and then the NARS kind of was pulling into third. They all needed a little bit more manipulation. The NARS needed the most manipulation for me on, getting it to work and wear well. The Laura Mercier only needed minimal manipulation, and the Estee Lauder needed the least amount of manipulation of whether it's like a matte primer or touching up or length of wear, that sort of thing. So hope this was helpful. And let me know if you've tried any of these and what your thoughts are, because I love hearing when people have like differing thoughts, or maybe you have the same thoughts about trying one of these foundations. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.